everyone, welcome back to Crafting at Whimsy Wonderland. My name is Stacy. Today I'm going to do a Dollar Tree DIY for you. It's not 100% Dollar Tree DIY, but it is using one of these Dollar Tree sled signs that you can get. I just got these yesterday, and so you can get them for the 2020 Christmas season. So they had these last year as well, so maybe you have a couple in your stash. The first thing you need to do is to take it apart. Oh, and you're also going to need some wood grain paper. I am going to do two different versions of this and show you two different ways to do it. And I'm using both of these wood grain papers are out of the same Holiday Homestead Hot Buy paper pad from Michaels. And I just picked this up about a week and a half or so ago. So this is for the 2020 season as well. So get into Michaels and get that. And what I'm using is this one with the holly berries and the greenery on it. I'm going to take advantage of this and let this be part of my decoration on one of them. And then on the other one, I'm going to use this wood grain, and I'm going to show you how I plan on using some of those window clings that I hauled for you in that Dollar General Walmart haul. Not sure which one I'm using yet, but it will be one of those. So what we need to do is take this sled apart. And I'm going to start by getting rid of the hanger. I'm not going to be reusing this hanger. And I'm going to take a putty knife. Now, I'm not going to be reusing these wooden slats. So if something has to get destroyed, let those be destroyed. Keep these other pieces intact as much as possible. Okay? I don't care that those got torn. That's perfectly fine. They're just kind of like a thick cardboard anyway. And then there's like some little staples in here. You've got to remove those. So I use my pliers and just pull those out. Don't cut your fingers on them while you're trying to find them. Okay, so take that apart. And then you also need to take apart the bottom. Go ahead and just rip those off. They're going to shred. That's okay. Get off as much of the paper as you can. A putty knife works great for this. A razor scraper would also work great. Alright, and then there are the staples in here too. And there's one at the top and one at the bottom. So pull those out. Make sure you get them into the garbage can because they're not fun to step on. I did that the other night. Not pleasant. And there should be one more up here somewhere. Oh, it's up here. Sorry, I have the sniffles today. We have a forest fire happening. A brand new one that started over the weekend, and the smoke is just getting to me. Just going to scrape off as much of this as I can. You want as much of this off as you can, or at least for it to be a tight adherence to what's left in there, because you're going to be gluing back over the top. And I'm just going to take a little bit of sandpaper and make sure that it's nice and smooth. Now, you can paint the back of this if you want to, or even just cover it with some paper would be fine. Then you're going to need to get rid of the glitter that's on the front of the sign. And I hit it with just a little bit of sandpaper to make sure I get the last little bit off. And I also take the shine off of this foily part. That piece is prepped and ready to go. And then I need to take the glitter off of this part as well. I'm sanding the back side is because I just want to make sure that I've got a nice smooth surface to glue to. We're going to go ahead and get on with the Mod Podging here. I'm going to go ahead and kind of work both of them at the same time. Just going to start with a basic Mod Podge. If you've been around my channel, you've seen me do this a bunch of times. If you have a lightweight paper and are worried about Santa hair bleeding through, then you'll want to paint this out first. But I'm using that paper from Michael's, and it is a lightweight cardstock, so I'm not too worried about it. I'm going to start with this one that has the berries and things on it, and I'm going to line up the edge just because I want to get as much of this design on here as possible. And if I get that straight, then it'll look nicer. And I didn't get it up high enough. I need to make sure that I'm getting to the top edge of my sled with this. Okay. And pressing it down. Looks like I've got some glitter stuck in there. I can see that this is going to have a line right here. I'm just kind of creasing it. And I want to get this on here too. So, okay. I'm going to go ahead and just cut along the line. I'm not trying to get right smooth with the edge of the board, but I can tell that my Mod Podge has dried out on me. And I'm going to add some more in here. You can tell when it's drying out because the paper peels up and it's just not working right. And that happens when you have to peel it up like I did. You want to make sure that you've got good adhesion, so you only have to wait for it to dry once. Alright, get that roller back on there. I'm going to put this face down for a few minutes just so it's good and pressed on there. And I'm going to go ahead and put the Mod Podge on here. Now, this is actually normally I think you would put it this way, but I don't think that the top piece of the wood would have been attached that way. So I'm going to draw this out. And I'm going to go ahead and cut this one because I want to make sure that it's straight. But I'm going to cut it a little bit bigger than my line just in case I get it on there a little crooked. I'm just going to give myself a little bit of wiggle room. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and Mod Podge on here. I like to keep baby wipes handy just to wipe up any mess I might make, because you guys know me by now, I'm a messy crafter. Alright. So I'm going to get that on there. And I'm just kind of bending it, just kind of getting a feel that it's where I want it. And then I'm going to go ahead and use my brayer tool and flatten it out. Now, wherever I have any big puddles of Mod Podge pooling, I like to go ahead and wipe it off, because it makes it harder to get your edge nice if you have a puddle of Mod Podge there. It's doable, it just takes a little more elbow grease, so I like to wipe that off if I have it. Alright, now let's do the other sled. Just making sure on this edge, because it's just one less piece I have to sand really hard. So I set the Mod Podge aside to dry, and I pulled out the crafts or the paint sticks, and these are the 5-gallon size paint sticks, sister sticks, and they come in a pack of 3. You can get them at Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's. They're about $1. And I cut 4 inches off. I was going for the size of the runner that we peeled off, plus a little bit bigger. I just wanted it to be a little more substantial, so I made it about 1 inch bigger. You can cut it exactly the same. That is totally up to you. I just wanted it to have a little more substance to it. If you want to put a rope hanger on this to hang this sign, then go ahead and drill the holes as well. But I plan to make this just like a little shelf sitter kind of a thing. So I'm going to paint these. So the color I've decided to use for this is Waverly's chalk paint in lacquer. It's you can use crimson, but crimson's just a little bit brighter red. You can use acrylic paint. You can use whatever paint you have. This is just what I have and what I like and what I think matches pretty well with the other pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and paint the edges first. I have all the sides painted on my sticks, and I'm going to distress this just a little bit with some Waverly Antique Wax. So I'm just putting it onto my brush and kind of wiping it off on my paper, and I'm mainly wanting to do the edges, and I am going to give these a quick sand after they're completely dry, but I just wanted to knock the red down just a little bit and make it look like a worn out old sled runner. So I'm going to go away for a little bit while everything dries, my Mod Podge and my paint, and then we'll come back and we'll put everything together. Alright, all the Mod Podge is dry. So what I'm going to do is take a piece of sandpaper, and sanding from front to back, never back to front because that will pull up your paper. Sanding from the front to the back, I'm going to go ahead and go around all of the edges on all of my pieces. I can go side to side, that will work too. I'm going to go ahead and sand all of these down like this, and I'll come back when it's done. You don't need to watch me sand a bunch of pieces. Okay, so I am back, and I have sanded everything down, and I'm getting ready to decoupage on, and what I'm going to use is these window clings from, this one's from Walmart, this one's from Dollar General, and let me kind of put these back in so you can see. Actually, I think I have a new one of each. This is what the one from Walmart looks like. This is the one from Dollar General. And Dollar Tree does have a bunch of really nice window clings right now too. I got a couple of each. I have things I'm going to do with these, but just not these sleds right now. I love this train. I have seen somebody post that they had a red truck one at the Dollar Tree, but my Dollar Tree didn't have it the other day when I went in. So I'm going to be mixing and matching pieces from the two sets. Dollar General for $1, Walmart for 98 cents. It's just this red truck from Walmart is just a little bit too big for this sled. That was my plan, was to use that on this one. But if I put that on this one, I have to cut off part of it, but I do kind of like it, so I'm still kind of toying with the idea. And then I have the sticker that says Farm Fresh Trees. If I put that up at the very top and decoupage that on, then I can trim off the edge and have the top piece say Farm Fresh Christmas Trees. But then this one is too big to go on to here unless I turn it sideways, and it just kind of gets lost in the red berries. I do kind of like it, but I am seeing the red berries through the truck. I could paint this white on the back and have it come out pretty nicely, but I was thinking the little smaller truck would look cute down there in the corner, and then the sign that came off of the Walmart one can go right there, and then we still have the pretty greenery up at the top, and there's a little bit of glitter on that greenery, which is kind of nice. And then I took the fresh cut and put on there. So yeah, I'm just kind of playing with it, trying to figure out what I want to do. I don't know, I really do like this truck on here, so maybe I'll go ahead and use that one and just not really worry about having to cut off the edges. I do have some more sleds I can make to use up those other ones. So what I'm going to do is start with the Mod Podge on the back of the truck. Okay. I did remember to buy some new Mod Podge, but I still need to use up my old one. So I'm going to go ahead and brush it on to the back of the plastic. Now, the thing about Mod Podging window clings that I have found is you need to give it plenty of time to dry, because the Mod Podge, the moisture cannot escape through the window cling because it's plastic. So you need to really give it time to dry before you seal it in. Otherwise, I don't know if you will end up with mold or whatnot, but I sealed right over the top of it immediately once, and I ended up with these wet bubbles of Mod Podge for weeks and weeks and weeks, and I'm like, oh, that can't be good. And eventually I got rid of the project because I was just not liking those bubbles of Mod Podge in there. Alright, I didn't put Mod Podge on this, I'm just putting it on the sticker because I don't want it to be soaking wet. Okay. Get it how you like it. You are going to Mod Podge over the top eventually, so if you get some fingerprints on it, it's okay. Get it flat. Smooth it out with your fingers as best you can, and then go ahead and use a brain tool or a credit card. You really want something to get that Mod Podge moved out to the edges. You want as thin of a layer as possible. And then with the part that's hanging over the edge, I'm going to go ahead and trim it right now with my scissors and just get it as close as I can. And if I need to, I can come back and hit it with some sandpaper, but the plastic doesn't work as well with the sandpaper, so just trying to clean that up. I think that looks okay with that edge cut off. Okay, give it a couple hours, if not overnight. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to go up and head to bed before too terrible long here, and so I will finish these up tomorrow. But doesn't that look cool on that board? And then when I put the matte finish Mod Podge over it, it's going to take away some of that shininess of the plastic. Okay, same with this one. Mod Podge on the back, and you don't want a thick layer. Just go ahead and coat the whole thing. And then put it onto your piece. Center it as best you can. Now I'm going to try to get the blue line to stay on there as much as I can, top and bottom. Look and make sure you're centered, and then go ahead and trim off those edges with your scissors that are overlapping. Especially with these plastic ones, I find that if you leave it till the end, till it's completely dry, you don't get as good of a seal onto your piece. Not quite sure why that is, but I think it has something to do with how you pull on it to cut it after it's already on there. I don't know. Okay, roll that out. Now you can see the edges of the plastic on there, but once you put the other layer of Mod Podge on over the top, it really changes it. So let it be on there, and then just let it dry. Okay, let's do this one. I'm not really liking this wood trim showing on just part of it, so I'm going to go ahead and trim that part off too. So perhaps you want to do that on yours as well. Trim off the wood edge before you even try to stick it down. Because I peeled that up, I'm going to need to put a little more Mod Podge underneath of there. And that looks much better, okay, without that brown edging on there. All right, I'm going to let these dry overnight just because of the time it is right now. So I've got my 2 sticks and I've got my arched piece, and I want the handle parts of the paint sticks, this part right here, it's skinnier, to be like the top of the sled. I'm going to flip the arched piece over, and where I can see the glue was from the piece I took apart, that's where I'm going to glue it down. So I'm going to put a little bead of glue here, and I'm going to go ahead and set my stick, my blade runner, whatever you want to call it, into the glue, and I'm going to hold it till it sets up. And I'm kind of trying to make sure that this edge here and the blade stick are the same. And then I'm going to do the same on the other side, kind of eyeballing it to make sure I've got the same distance from this edge to the glue, from this edge to the glue. And this is where I'm going to use another stick to help me line up the height of it so that my 2 sticks come to the same spot up top. I'm not gluing this extra stick on, I'm just using it as a guide. Okay, I'm going to hold that in place and let it harden up a little bit, and then make sure I have the right the right pieces. All right, and then I'm going to put a little more glue here. I'm going to put glue on here, a nice good bead of it, and I'm going to lift this up a little bit and lining up my top and my bottom. Go ahead and glue that on. You could also do this with wood glue if you wanted. Stickler for wanting the backs of your projects to look nice, you're going to want to paint this. I didn't think about, I mean, I thought about it, but it would be nice to have this painted. So I can always go back in and paint it now that it's glued together. All right, and there is my finished sled. How cute is that? So cute. Okay, I still have to decoupage over the top. I don't know, I'm not really liking how far these are sticking out and how little these are sticking out. So we're going to do this next one a little bit different. See where the skinny part is kind of flat right here? I'm thinking I could glue this piece down there and then glue this piece up here, and then we would have more part sticking out the bottom. I think that's a good idea. So I'm going to go ahead and pump some glue onto that flat part and kind of eyeball the glue on the back. Maybe I should turn it over. Okay folks, this is not going together the way I had it planned. I'm using the lines on my table mat to make sure we're straight. And I'm just pumping a little extra glue into this one. once my hot glue cools, I kind of smear it in there like it's caulking. But I have to let it cool a little bit so I don't burn my finger. Going to carefully turn this over and hope that we're centered. Okay. And then I'm going to eyeball where I want the truck piece to go. And I'm going to mark it with a pencil. And that'll tell me where to put the glue. This is where like a liquid wood glue would come in handy. Maybe it would run less. But it would take longer to set up. So you decide what works best for you. Yes, I like this setup much better. Okay. Puts the blades out the back just a little more, and this one will sit like this. I think that is so cute. Okay, all that's left to do is to Mod Podge over the top. Maybe pump a little more hot glue down the side of this. Okay, so there's that one. I like how the runners stick out a little more than they do on this one. The runners are up at the top on this one, which I guess would be cute because when it sits up like this, it'll be cute. So decide how you like it best and do it your way. Alright, you can also Mod Podge over the top of your the runners if you would like, to give it a little bit of just protection, but when I do the clear coat, it will take care of that. So I'm not going to worry about Mod Podging that. But if you're not going to clear coat it, then absolutely hit your chalk paint on the runners with a little Mod Podge. I also picked up yesterday at the craft store, Michael's was having a sale. I picked up a bottle of the dishwasher safe Mod Podge. So I'm looking forward to using some of these window clings on maybe some trivets or something like that. I have to find some clear ones first. Make sure you get a good coat around the edge of the window clings though, so that they stay put. So the trick to Mod Podging with the window clings is it's a really thin layer underneath. Give it time to dry from underneath and then go back and Mod Podge over the top of it. And then I will be clear coating. I'm just hitting the edges of my paper with a little more Mod Podge because it looks like it's trying to peel up in a couple of spots. So go back and check that, and if you need to do that. Alright, I can't wait to see these all done and finished. Alright, there you have it, my finished sled project using the decals from Dollar General and Walmart, the window cling decal stickers. I really love the art you get on these because you get a detail and a texture in them that you just don't get in a free printable that you would put off of your computer. So let me know what you're thinking about this project in the comment section below. If you like this project, please give it a thumbs up. That helps my channel to grow, and it helps me to know what kind of content you guys want to keep seeing. And if you've got some window clings out there that you've done or that you've been able to purchase at Dollar General, Dollar Tree, Family Dollar, Walmart, let me know what you found, and I will try to do a project with those window clings to give you some inspiration. Okay? Let me know if this is something you want me to do some more of. Do you like using the window clings? Alright, this has been Crafting at Whimsy Wonderland. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you next time.